Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Corn Corner podcast, now in VR. I'm your host, Cam Wren, and listen, I'm a cool podcast host. Just do it in the house.
Totally. I'm Cam Damage, and I'll be your heterosexual boyfriend for hire.
And today, we are going to speak about something that happens in the street, something that happens once a year, and I'm not talking about Christmas. We're talking about
Folsom.
the Folsom Street Fair.
I was like, Christmas happens in the street?
Sometimes Christmas does happen in the street, and let's get right into it with no more further ado. Adieu. Adieu. Monsieur Folsom Street Fair.
As a feasting in the comment dit
The member DPP.
in the cry. Okay, anyway.
Do you say welcome?
A lot of people don't know this, but Ren's been working on her French accent. Not learning French.
Listen,
Just a French accent.
when you have a bob, it comes along with the territory.
Yeah.
So recently we went to Folsom. I just thought to myself, are we sitting on the wrong sides of the table? And what the fuck is wrong? That's insane.
We're very tired. I feel like, so Folsom was last week.
Last week.
And I feel like it just ended because we went to Folsom with our little crew, and then we came back, and then we just spent the weekend again with our little crew doing
Yes.
more intense, like another weekend of intense stuff.
Yes.
And I now just feel like that it all ended, and you
In
know,
this moment.
yeah. So we're tired. We're recapping it all.
Yeah. Who did you hang out with this weekend?
You maybe, I don't know if you're aware. You were in the room with her, but you may have just met that time. Kiss Me Deadly Doll was in the group.
Nice. She does rope bondage.
Yeah. She is what they call a rigger.
I've heard about her.
It was the KMDD
KMDD.
and her little mate Bethany, who we can shout out.
They were cute together.
Yeah, and also Lily.
Lily was there.
Who's very cool.
like
Sold
Lily.
me on AirPods and has similar music interests to me.
Also, fun fact, there might be an episode of the Corn Corner with Lily that comes out, because I recorded one with her like a year ago.
Oh God.
And it never came out, but she said some fascinating things.
Well, then we should do that. Lily's
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
Lily is cool.
Yeah.
Also, Captain was there. Who else was there?
Was Captain?
Zeppy? Not.
Oh, this past weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Folsom, we did an episode on it last year. We're absolutely not going to link it in any show notes.
No,
so
you gotta go find it.
just go find it.
Scroll
people.
back.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Yeah, there is a two-parter because last year was our first Folsom.
God,
so
we had a lot
to
of
say.
thoughts.
Yeah. This year's gonna be a little different.
This year's a little different. I mean, how'd you feel about it?
Well,
No, I don't know.
I do a little shirt pull if you're an audio-only listener. I have complicated feelings about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like a negative Nelly on here, you know?
Yeah.
Because I had a great time surrounding Folsom with the people that we were with and the things we did and hanging out with everyone.
Yes.
The fair itself, I personally had a hard time for some of it.
Yeah.
I will say right off the bat, we want to say the highlight of it, at least for me, because I didn't perform or anything, was people coming up and saying stuff about the Corn Corner.
Highlight for sure.
Yeah, which is still like,
If you want an in to have a convo that's going to be great, say like the Corn Corner.
yeah, because we're instantly going to be like,
You got it.
disarmed. You're
in the same.
I think I gotta.
Speaking of that,
Sorry, audio only listeners, but there's this amazing drawing, which we can maybe put a little insert because you're not going to be able to.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
See it, but it's honestly like truly incredible.
It's
Not
incredible.
blowing smoke. It's like really good.
Zeri did it. Thank you so much. We met them, and they're amazing.
You may be familiar from the Discord,
From the Discord.
and if you're not on the Discord, then
Get on up in there.
get on the Corn Corner Discord. You can find info for it linked in our profile thing on here on YouTube.
I did not wear crazy clothing.
Yeah,
I wore just a casual fit. That was one of my things.
Yeah.
That made my experience much more pleasant.
Because last year you wore like a leather corset.
Yes.
And like heels.
Yes.
And a little teeny skirt.
Yes.
And whatever. And this year you like specifically said, I don't want to wear fetish gear. I just want to look hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did.
I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah.
And also, it wasn't as hot this year, I would say.
Yeah. It was a lot more mild. And we hung out by the rope area. That was the bondage stage stuff. That was a cooler area where you could hide in the shade some places. I also didn't wear anything bananas this year. Wore cargo shorts.
What did you wear last year?
Oh, I didn't. I wore
cargo shorts.
No, I wore shorts last year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like last year, I was still like I wasn't as far in transition stuff.
Yeah.
So I like looked much like twinkier.
Yeah.
And just happened to have my shirt off and had shorts on.
Yeah, there's a point in which you had on a thong underpants.
Yeah, I did perform wearing a thong underwear, and I don't like to think about it in
I know.
retrospect.
Won't
Wouldn't have
happen.
done that the same.
I brought it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, then you had your pup gear as well.
Yeah, I
which
put
is
on
fun.
my pup hood at one point, and that was fun to walk around. And I think, like, what was your, besides Corn Corner people coming up to you,
Yeah.
what was your favorite part of the weekend inside and outside Folsom?
Inside, I really like the face masks.
Expand on that.
Well, we all did face masks at one night.
Oh, no. I mean, like, okay, so that's outside. So that's
sorry.
like, yeah. So
I
like,
started with outside.
the bounds of the fair and inside the bounds of the fair. So outside, you like face mask time.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
It was nice. We all just kind of hung out.
Yeah.
We got a little wine in a plastic cup.
Yeah. So we did. We stayed in a room together with Kiss Me Deadly. You're familiar.
I've heard
Yeah.
about it.
And Bethany and Lily, and Lily brought sheep masks, like the ones that make you look like Hannibal Lecter.
Yep.
And we did those one night and ate pizza or burgers. I forget what it was.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I made myself ill.
Yeah, but it was rich. And you all, the ladies all had wine.
We did.
And
You
we're
weren't
just-
allowed.
And our TV didn't work in the room, so we all just
Yeah.
like sat around like giggling like it was an actual sleepover, which was fun.
It was.
And I felt like the cool like brother who got
Yeah.
like invited on the inside because he's gay and he's safe.
Yeah. There's also there's no Budweiser for you, so you couldn't even drink.
Nothing for me. Yeah.
You were worried that if you had white wine, it'd make you gay.
Yeah. Which is weird because I am, but you
It's a
know,
whole thing.
not that kind of gay.
Not that kind. Look,
You know.
we all understand.
Yeah.
I guess in the fair, honestly, other than performing
Yeah.
at the street fair is always fun. I performed with a phenomenal road top by the name of Kissy. But I would say honestly, Corn Corner people coming up.
I
saying
said
like the Corn
other
Corner.
than that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Because we know that was the highlight for both
Then
of
I
us.
suppose I would go with performing.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So you performed last year.
Yeah.
Was it different than
Absolutely.
last year?
It was like so different.
Why?
Last year was last year we performed at the Collective booth.
Yeah.
And that energy, that was awesome.
Yeah. It was
like,
wild.
It was wild.
Yeah.
They were like, it was crazy.
Yeah. For people who don't, sorry to interrupt, but for people who don't know, at Folsom, there's different like areas throughout the fair. There's multiple blocks blocked off, and it's like an enclosed space for like it's like a lawless land.
Yeah.
There's like no kids allowed, fucking obviously. But there's different stages and booth areas that there's demonstrations and performances and hangout spots. So last year there was one for Collective Corruption that happened to be positioned at a major intersection of the fair.
It was the best space you could ever want.
So it was like super high traffic, and the energy was like wild because people were just walking by and stopping.
It was also it felt more DIY as a booth.
Yeah.
Versus something like the Twisted Windows booth or the I think it's like I can't remember
I forget the
other
one that
rope
Blue
booth.
runs,
But
that like had previously
Those
run,
booths
yeah.
are like elevated.
Yeah.
With
like off the
huge
ground
tying
elevated.
points.
Yeah.
So the vibe's different.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Collective booth was
It was
on
like
ground
floor
level.
level, yeah.
But there's barriers. I felt safe.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that made that different was, I think we should go back. The night before, we were at Twisted Windows.
Yeah.
And it's this big event.
Yeah.
And there's these 3 side stages, and there's a main stage. And we were on one of the side stages.
Yeah.
And that was awesome because all of our friends were around us watching us. It's very intimate.
Yeah.
The main stage is a stage.
Like like feet up in the air,
Correct.
bright lights on you. Yeah.
Music going.
Yeah.
Correct. We got moved from a side stage to the main stage.
This year.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that really changed the way that we had to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to be on a side stage because everyone's right there with you.
Yeah.
So we had to make it more theatrical.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's not what
we
that
usually
was.
do. Yeah.
So that was kind of a change. And then also going into last year's actual street fair,
Yeah.
the collective thing was like, it was our last thing that Chelsea and I did.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I left, and I've never been worked out that hard. Like
Yeah.
I left and I was like nothing. Like that was the hardest thing I've ever done my entire life.
Nothing in the tank.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And there was just not an opportunity to do that. Like that's not the vibe on the
Yeah.
Twisted Windows stage.
Where you were this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just not. And also, I think the other thing to say is that the Twisted Windows stage is like, it's a 25-minute set.
Yeah.
Which is so,
For rope is very short.
yeah. So you can't really
Stay
do a
in
lot.
positions and
Whereas like,
yeah.
I think we tied for like an hour at the collective stage.
Yeah, it was much longer.
It wasn't, the times weren't real.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Because like the people going on behind us were our friends.
Yeah.
You know? It was
And
like,
we were all chilling. Like,
yeah,
whatever,
it was like, it didn't really like matter that much.
Yeah.
So we were able to really get into it.
Do stuff. I think
Yeah.
that's like maybe a thing that people don't know about Folsom is that there's such a disparity of the types of like play, quote unquote, that
Yeah.
occur there, because there's the levels of like people just in the street, like randos just in the street, like literally doing it,
Yeah.
like doing activities that I shouldn't say
Yeah.
by name on here and stuff, like kink activities, whatever, full on penetrative
Yes.
activities. And they're just like against a wall
Doing
in
it.
the street doing it. And anyone can walk up and record you. Obviously, there's no like, it's the same, like, don't just go up and touch people, but and you can be recorded no matter where you are there. It's
People
kind of
also have
understood.
signs that are like, touch me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we've had a bunch of friends that have been touched when they don't want to be touched
Yeah.
on doing street bombing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was this year one of the things that like was really upsetting to me. I wasn't doing anything. I was walking around in my pup hood with no shirt on and shorts on, and a dude like rubbed my belly. And I was like,
get the fuck off.
yeah, like
man.
it threw me the hell off, because also there's signs at Folsom that say gear is not consent, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But
Yeah.
the dude was not just a rando. He was wearing fetish gear.
Yeah.
So like he should have known better. And it was like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, but in the, you know, the list of different types of stuff, then it goes all the way up to like, you know, there's a wrestling ring set up.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That I watched like briefly at one point. And then the Twisted Windows bondage area has elevated stages with like several hard points where
Yeah.
people go up to perform.
You know, the weird thing that I'm kind of feeling is like last year we did like everything. We went to Vox's jam.
Oh, yeah.
We went to a party.
Yeah.
We went to we did everything. And then this year we only did Folsom.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking to myself, maybe we want to do like
More.
a Vox jam.
Yes.
Because the thing I really wish I could have had was like the collective scene.
Yeah.
But that is never gonna happen again, because that happened because we were all surrounded by our friends
Yeah.
in like a DIY booth in the crazy space we could have never asked for.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could happen at like Vox maybe.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I think the thing that we like out of like our interaction with kink is the community
yeah.
that we have like fostered around us, and
Yeah.
and the interactions there. And and although I'm like an exhibitionist and stuff, I don't want to go to Folsom to be
I'm not an exhibitionist for people that are randoms.
No,
I
your
don't
friends.
know.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I got more like of that little seed from the class.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah. That we taught versus Folsom.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, it's hard. I think it's hard going up and performing at Folsom because you feel like on an elevated stage that you're expected to put on a show.
Yeah.
And people are like sitting and watching and stuff, and you can't see your friends necessarily unless like we sat in the front and we're like whooping for people and stuff. But then there's a bunch of other people who may not know like what's going on, and it's like a totally different vibe than like a gaggle of your friends around you who know, especially with rope, what it feels like what you're experiencing. Because there's nothing worse than doing a rope performance and being in something god awful, and people who don't understand just being like, Marp, and you're like, I'm dying.
Yeah. That's always really funny to me, is that we'll do a position that's relief or something like that, and people are like,
and you're like, no, this is the easy part.
This is
like me hanging in a single fudo leg tie. I'm like, ugh,
this is the break.
I'm chilling. And people are like, whoa. I'm like, no, this is like, for me, it's like, that's fine, I'm all right.
I do think next year, with that said, I do want to perform. I want to keep doing it because I feel like I don't get FOMO, but I do feel like I would miss something if I wasn't performing and just at Folsom. I have no interest in going to Folsom as a human. I want a job there.
Yes, that's what we've talked about. What I would do different next year to feel like a little better about my thing. And there's a lot of factors going into my experience this year that made it like, whatever. But like I learned this year that I do need to perform. Because I did last year, and despite also having weird feelings about last year's Folsom, this year was like, I need something to tether me.
Yes.
No pun intended, because I'd be doing a rope performance. To have like, I'm doing something at this time. I belong in a place at some point, whatever. So I know I'll be doing that different next year. And I already talked to I'm probably going to do a scene with Kiss Me Deadly Doll. Do you know who she is?
She does rope, correct?
Yeah. So we will be doing a rope scene.
Neat. I just think about how her fingers are going to fall off.
Yeah. I don't know how they didn't buy this weekend, honestly. Because she's just been like, tying constantly for the past like 2 weeks, probably. Like multiple times a day.
I know.
Anyway. Also, next year, I want to do the pup thing, but I'm not like other pups. Okay. I'm not like very good at going to like, I'm not outgoing. I'm a pretty like shy one.
Yeah.
And when I put on a hood, I want to not like talk or just talk to specific people. I just want to like zone out, whatever. So we learned this year that I like do need to have like some kind of handler, which I didn't this year. Or like the harness that says like, I'm anxious, don't talk to me kind of thing. Cause I was super sensory overload this year.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like,
got it.
Yeah.
I think that we as a group could do a better job with you in encouraging you to
puff stuff.
Do puff stuff, because it's really difficult to do that alone. Like, you want a friend, you want a buddy.
Yeah.
And it's hard when the group is not encouraging it.
Well, I think it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing in general, and especially with me. And I don't think anyone did anything wrong this year. Yeah. Like, no one knew, like, going in. We were all just like, yeah, whatever. You'll put on your thing and, like, whatever. And I've also engaged with pup stuff very rarely in, like, my timeline with other people.
Yes.
And to me, it's like I considered this year asking you or Kiss Me Deadly Doll to, like, bless up, to like have a leash or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, that's such a weird and intimate thing to be like, hey pal, you want to hold my leash? Like that's like far to me.
Yeah.
Like that's like akin to like, it's like sexual activity.
Yeah.
On intimacy level, which we know that I am sparing with.
Yeah.
Like, or like cuddling, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to throw it out, but it's like a thing to consider. And also like, I need to do better about advocating for myself in terms of pup stuff. Like maybe if I want to just like kneel next to the group and not talk to people, I need to like say that to people.
I think that there could at least be degree of, let's say you have your vest on and leash and we're walking around. If someone would come up and want to interact with you as a pup, we could say, like, I could say, like, no, he doesn't want to. Yeah. Like he's not into it. And then, like, I feel like that's something we could absolutely do as a group. And there's nothing like kind of, I don't know, more with that.
It's just hard because
it is hard.
I don't want to put the responsibilly on other people to.
I think it sounds fun for the group though, because I think we need more
group activities.
Yeah, we need more stuff as a group. I think that is something that would be awesome to do.
It's also, the whole thing is complicated because, as we both said, one of the highlights of our Folsom was like corn people coming up and saying hi.
I think that a corner person gets it. And I hate to say it, but I do think that it's a different kind of coming up. Yeah. It's different. Yeah. It's, first off, they always lead with it. Always. Yeah. It's always, I listen to your podcast, love your podcast. And from there, it's like 100% of the time, cool.
Yeah. I didn't have any bad come up to me interactions. In fact, there were like a few people, like one person sticks out that said they were getting top surgery soon.
Yes.
And I was like, that's awesome. And like, we both got a little emotional, and I told them to like, please DM me if you have any like things you want to talk to, like questions, like when you get surgery and you need support, whatever, because that's like hard to find and stuff.
Yeah.
And like talk to someone who's getting top surgery from the same person that I did. Like that's cool. And I don't want to miss on those interactions, but I think I need to have some kind of boundary of like interaction time is over and shut it down, you know?
I think that's something else we could do is we could set up a real corner meet time.
Yeah.
I think that would help.
Yeah. Cause we did shout outs to anyone who showed up for the one, cause it was very loose and fast and loose, but we did a little one at the end of this year's Folsom.
And it was a great turnout.
It was great. And you saying corn people get it is like so true, because we were saying goodbye and you were like hugging everyone, and I literally stood there and was like, I'm extremely overstimulated, I cannot hug anyone.
And they said cool,
and everyone was like, yeah, we get it. And I was like, nice, everyone else is also autistic. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, we don't
know.
Listen
to Corner, there's a coin flip if you are. It's
I feel like there's a corn flip no matter what.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what?
Also different this year is, last year I didn't get to walk around like at all because I was like at the booth, whatever.
Yes.
But this year we did do some walking around and some sightseeing, if I may. Did you see anything that like stuck out to you while doing any walk-arounds?
You know, I gotta be honest with you. I don't particularly, and one thing about this podcast is that I'm always honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't really care about like the vendor space.
Yeah.
I don't really care about seeing a lot of the stuff going on. I gotta be honest. I gotta be real with you.
The hard part about like, it's a very overwhelming area, the vendor area, because it's a huge concentration of people. And you're in that like cattle corral where you're all kind of slowly meandering and you can barely look at stuff.
Yeah.
If you're like sensory overload, ADD, or not even, it's extremely overwhelming. Like there's too much to see.
Yeah.
It's hard to like go off to the side, whatever. I was generally overwhelmed, but did get to stop at like, I bought stuff at 2 different ones.
Cool.
And one of them was like on the opposite side of the main really busy area, and I got like a really cool t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then there was a toy thing that we went into where I got some cool toys, and that was like fun. And I like the aspect of it that it's buying from independent makers and stuff. So I like that, but it is like an incredibly daunting thing.
Yeah, I mean, did you see anything you really liked?
Probably just the t-shirts and stuff that stood out to me were like cool. And I got that one that's like, I feel like it'd be hard to find it outside of Folsom.
Yeah.
Because like some people didn't have like shop links or anything like that. Yeah. And it was just like, this is where you get it. And that's the only opportunity. Like,
yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. I tend to enjoy the things that surround it. Like I really like the pool time.
Like outside of the thing itself.
Yeah, because I would never buy anything really. Yeah. Also, I saw some like fashion I thought was cool.
Like people wearing stuff?
Yeah. Like one friend in particular was like, that's a really cool outfit. But a lot of the stuff I'm like, I just don't really want an excuse to wear fetish wear in public.
Yeah.
I don't care about that very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange, the things I actually like and gather from it.
I think we come from like very different like different positions with it.
Yeah.
Cause like I know one thing in terms of gender for me is that Folsom is a place where I think I saw a lot of like trans masc people that I think would probably agree with it, is one place that we can walk around without a shirt on.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
And or like walk around without a shirt on and you have trans tape on to bind or something like that, and you don't feel like people are gonna be like, well, what the fuck is that about? Like,
I guess that makes a lot of sense. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. So I mean, I go shirtless in public in inappropriate ways. Inappropriate ways, let me say, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And appropriate ways is a grocery store that you frequent.
Absolutely. Yeah. In Whole Foods every time. I do feel comfortable doing that when I can now, like at the pool, whatever, that kind of stuff. But it's still, I can count on like one hand the times I've been shirtless in public. And Folsom last year was like the second time I ever was shirtless in public. And to like have the opportunity to do that and be like, this is cool. People aren't going to stare or be asking me shit about my scars or whatever, because I hadn't been tattooed over by then. Stuff like that. You can be someone walking around with trans tape and a packer and no one's going to be like, what is it? Or like some stupid shit.
That's actually a really good point. There's nothing I want to do as far as wearing something cool. Last year for sure.
Yeah.
I was really stoked to like wear that stuff out, the whole thing. But this year, there's nothing that I thought would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Like next year, I'm actually gonna try to style an outfit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, but not fetishy. What?
Not fetishy.
No, but just more cool stuff.
But not to like this isn't meant to be disparaging anyway saying this, but like femmes are, I think, more open to wear like very like slutty things there.
Yeah.
And it's like cool. You're not gonna get like catcalled in the space. Like I say that, but people just like whatever. But less than if you can't walk down the street in this. Yeah. That kind of thing.
I think I'm gonna do a dress, but it could be mesh.
Yeah.
And wear a cool lingerie under it or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. So definitely something I couldn't wear in public.
Yeah.
But something that isn't wildly fetishy.
Yeah.
Something more couture.
Yeah, of course.
But still hot.
Yeah. It's also a matter of comfort because like I commend the people that wore latex.
I see it. It blows my mind.
It's wild.
How
and
do
they
you
look
do
cool
it?
As hell, but I could never.
How do you do it?
Like, especially like at the times when it did get warm, bananas, and then latex doesn't do anything for temperature either way. So then they got cold later, and that's like terrible. Like I don't like I don't know. So
yeah, I don't know either. What are the other items that happened at Folsom? I'm trying to think.
I think that there was a lot of. I liked walking around and seeing the things I didn't see last year, like the wrestling stage. Like I didn't even know existed.
Cool.
That's super fun. I thought a hilarious thing was the street food vendors that found their way in, like just making like hot dogs and stuff in the middle of there, who like were clearly not kink people. They were just like, like, hey, but they were literally just like hanging out, selling stuff. That was cool.
Have you eaten one of those?
No.
They look great.
I only had like protein bars because I'm like doing the vegan sitch. Yeah. Bathrooms, horrifying.
But I also didn't really go. I went once.
We all went once. Like we all like purposely dehydrated ourselves so we didn't have to.
I went once before I tied because my biggest fear in life is needing to use the bathroom
in rope.
Yeah.
I also only went once, which for me is bananas. Because I usually go 5 times in an hour.
But I didn't. Yeah, I decided I'm not gonna
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hard because the tent had liquid death for free.
Yeah.
And I'll always take a liquid death for free. I would never pay for that.
No.
Insanity. But I would take it for free.
Yeah.
Prime free stuff.
Of course.
So I was like, damn it, I'm not going to drink this because then I'm going to have to use a porter potty.
Yeah.
And
we don't want that.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
0%. 0%.
I know that like I didn't see some of the stuff, but a lot of people were talking on the internet about like I think about
in the chat rooms.
Yeah, you know, on Twitter, on X, whatever. People were up in arms about like, and that's a good pun, about like certain activities that like happened, and I think about the preparation that goes into it.
Oh, I saw a man.
Yeah.
I was like, how?
Up to the like elbow.
Yes. I
so
said,
like
how?
Yeah. People just like going there and doing things that you have to prepare for.
Yeah.
Like at length.
Yeah.
But they like did it before going to the fair, I guess. And then people just must have like lube on them. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of these things, this is why this episode's a little bit challenging for me. Is that there's a bunch of these kind of spicy takes.
Yeah.
About different things that should be allowed and things that shouldn't be allowed.
I think you should say it. I think that we're here to discuss it because like maybe you have something to say and I can offer you information or like, you know, whatever.
Do you think there's things that shouldn't be allowed there?
I don't think that caca should be allowed there.
No, absolutely not. Did you see that though?
That was one of the, I didn't read into it too much, but there was a thing that was, someone was doing activities with a fist and there was a aftermath situation apparently or something.
That's wild.
Because that's like where we go into like biohazard.
That's not okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was purposeful or not. So I can't like super comment on that. But I think the point of the fair itself is that it is like, it's an adult fair.
Yeah.
It's like a gay, queer, fetish adult fair where it's blocked off, it's age restricted, it's anything goes, whatever.
I was reading and I don't think anything goes.
No, but it's confusing because is it not anything doesn't go on stage, but that's very lax on the street.
I think it's a thing of,
and who's monitoring?
Yeah, totally. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's a gray area. Because we all know what's happening.
Well, it's like, it feels like a suggestion, but no one's really watching.
Yes.
So like, because there's not Folsom police running around.
Yeah.
Like there's not dungeon monitors.
Yeah.
Maybe there are, but there weren't enough for me to know that was a thing if there are. But it's like a suggestion that maybe they just have to say in terms of like legalities and stuff. But then everyone inside knows that, like, whatever.
I do wonder what actual people running Folsom think about that and how they approach it. If it's a thing where they just kind of turn their nose and are like, hey, whatever you do is what you do.
Yeah. I feel like they have to because it's there's thousands of people there. Yeah. Like, you can't possibly, it's hard enough to monitor a place-based dungeon with people walking around. Like, things still happen that are supposed to not happen by the rules. So it's impossible to police ACAB. All the people in that area.
How do you feel about Kink at Pride? God. You don't have to answer this because
I think there's a line.
Yeah.
Because Pride there's kids at Pride. So like there's a line of like, there's certain things that I think are fine, but then you cross that, like, people shouldn't be engaging with genitalia at Pride because it's a public thing. Like it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's okay for people to be wearing pup gear and stuff, but you can't have your like tallywhacker out.
Well, you know, it's so funny you say that. Trixie said about drag.
Yeah.
There are different drag shows. Yeah. There are some that are appropriate for kids. There's some that aren't appropriate for kids.
Yeah.
Mine aren't appropriate for kids.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing in Pride events. Mm-hmm. But I'm also not inherently like kink needs to be at Pride. I just don't
have an opinion on
think that.
Yeah. I just like don't, I don't think about it that much because it's like, the line is such a blurry one.
Yeah.
Of where kink becomes a non-consenting activity to those who are viewing it.
Yes.
And I think the thing that makes Folsom different is by walking through the barricades into the space, you're consenting to see whatever.
Correct.
Versus a pride parade where you're not consenting to see like those things. That's not the expectation surrounding that.
It's a hard one to talk about.
It's like people who think that it's cool for you to get walked around on a leash at the grocery store because it's not a sexual activity, but it is a sexual activity and it's not cool.
Yes.
Because then a child sees it and then you're forcing this like engagement with like the kid asking questions, blah, 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 and that's like weird. That's like...
It's weird.
Yeah. It's just not necessary. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah. But at Folsom, it's like...
It's different.
Yeah.
It's very, very different.
Yeah.
I also wonder how the shop owners feel.
What do you mean?
Someone just has a bagel shop and they're like, oh, we got to close down for the weekend.
I mean, Folsom's been going on for 40 years. So.
No, I know, but I just wonder, like, there has to be a subset that is upset. There has to be a subset that is cool. There has to be like all these things. Because they're shutting down for a weekend.
Yeah.
That means that no one gets paid.
Yeah, that's true. I know the only person I interacted with that was like not at the fair was a woman came out of her house when we were like standing there, but she was like laughing. Like she clearly was like, ha, have fun, kids. Like whatever. And that was cool. But I imagine there's people within the bounds that are like, God damn it, like it's Folsom weekend again and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm a Kingster, and if I wasn't participating in it and I lived in there, I'd be like, God. Like people pissing on each other in the street. Like
I do wonder what the cleanup out there is like.
It's probably awful, honestly.
What do you think they do?
Well, I mean, I hope people are throwing their trash away in like a nice way and people are obeying like that kind of like common decency stuff.
Yeah.
But I also have to say that like, is it that much different than normal life to have pee in the street in a major city?
I mean, I'm sure the amount is up.
But in the density of the area, sure, yes.
But I imagine there's a lot of trash out.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of stuff.
I mean, I was there last year for cleanup of our booth, like whatever, and there were like trash dudes going around that were like emptying cans and picking stuff up. And like I helped on our block, like pick stuff up with them and stuff.
Have you ever pressure washed something?
Yeah, love it.
It's so fun, isn't it?
But I don't think they're pressure washing the street. I think they're hosing it down at best, if that.
Well, hopefully next year they'll be pressure washing.
I doubt it, to be honest.
I would love to pressure wash something.
We can do that. It's pretty easy to.
Let's get a driveway or something.
Let's get a driveway.
That might be fun.
Rent a driveway.
To pressure wash it. Yeah. Over the summer, one time I pressure washed a bunch of chairs. One of the best summers of my life.
Really weird.
Well, on that note, when you are partaking in different activities and things of that nature, don't forget to kind of be shucked.
I was like, don't forget to floss. Where are we going with this?
Not flossing. But if you do eat corn, make sure you floss.
Yeah.
Make sure that you stay creamed.
Yeah. Don't like that in that context.
Make sure that you stay loving. Because God helps those who help themselves.
All right. You almost fumbled that. You almost fumbled a bit.
I never fumble a bit. All right, everybody.
Also, check out patreon.com/thecorncorner. Pay what you want. It puts up there. You'll like it.